Welcome back for part 2 of the volume of 3D figures. So this will be on cones and spheres. So our first one here is a cone. So these formulas are a little bit more involved. So we just make sure that we take notice to them and take our time with them. So we have area of a circle, because that's the base here. So pi r squared times the height. And all of this is going to be divided by 3. Our second shape is the sphere. And the volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, I usually show this as 4 pi r cubed, and then I divide by 3, because sometimes students get afraid of the 4/3 there. But either way, you will get the same answer. So some helpful real-life examples of spheres would be like a basketball, a softball, a tennis ball, a globe, and cones could be like snow cones, waffle cones, things like that. Let's try a couple examples of these. Okay, for our first two examples, we have spheres. Find the volume of each figure, round to the nearest tenth. So this just means 1 decimal place. So if we look at our first example here, we have our diameter. So we want to make sure that we only find our radius, because that's what our formula has us plugging in for. So if our diameter is 18 yards, the radius is half of that, so it's 9 yards. Make sure you don't skip over this vital step, otherwise your numbers will be very off. So let's write down our formula. Volume equals 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. Plug in our 9 cubed divided by 3. So we are going to work with this. You need to do your 9 cubed first. That's what order of operations tells us to do. So we get volume equals 4 times 729 pi, all divided by 3. Oops, ran out of space there. So we multiply that out, we get volume is equal to 2,916 pi, all divided by 3. And when we multiply by pi, then divide by 3, we get volume is approximately 3,053 and 6/10 yards cubed. That's our first example there. So if we look at the next one, very similar setup. You are going to make sure that you have your radius, and if you look here, the red line is again the diameter, so we have to account for that. So it's half of 22, 11. So we plug into our formula. Volume equals 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. So we have, if you want to look at it with the fraction in the part, 4/3 pi times 1,331, which will give us 1,774.6 pi. Like I said in the first video, sometimes they want us to leave it in terms of pi, but most of the time they want you to approximate. So volume is approximately 5,575.3 kilometers cubed. So those are our two examples for spheres. Let's look at some cones. All right, we are going to find the volume of this cone. So if you forgot, your formula is volume equals pi r squared times height divided by 3. Now, this is pretty much working out a cylinder, and then you cut it into 3 pieces. So if you have trouble remembering the formula, I always remember that the top part is the same as a cylinder. Okay? So in this shape here, we have to identify our radius, which is 5 meters. So we have volume equals pi times 5 squared times the height, all divided by 3. Follow order of operations, do your 5 squared first, and then multiply it by 12. If you do this, we get 300 pi over 3. And if I wanted this in terms of pi, 300 divided by 3 is 100 pi meters cubed. So that's the actual precise value for the volume. But if we approximate it, we do 100 times pi in the calculator and get 314.2 meters cubed. I actually find the volume of cones easier than spheres, but that's just me. So I figured we'd save those for last here. Our last example. We are going to follow the same setup. Identify your radius. So radius is equal to 6 meters. So volume equals pi times the radius squared times the height, all divided by 3. So don't forget that part right there. Otherwise, you found the volume of a cylinder and not the cone, which is your intention. So 6 squared is 36. 36 times 12 is 432 pi, all over 3. If you divide that out, we get 144 pi meters cubed. Now, if you don't want the exact answer and you want the approximation, we are going to multiply that by pi and get 452.4 meters cubed. Now, what I want you to work on to end this video are the 6 examples on the back of your worksheet. There's 3 of each type. Make sure you identify the shape, apply the correct formula, and take your time.